Hello, this is Eva. Today we're going to be taking a look through my story map made through my iNaturalist observations during the semester. So, this project was, well, what I just explained. Yeah, it's just 100 species. Most of them are down here in Bowling Green, since where school is, and some of them are also up here in northern Kentucky, Ohio area. So, let's get started. Here are some of the trees I identified. This one's a crepe myrtle, which I just thought their flowers were just so pretty. They're so pink. They're all over campus here. And you can identify them because they're multi-stemmed. So they have they don't have one trunk. They just have all these different branches that go up with it's one tree. It's called a Lagerstromia indica. And they're native to South and Southeast Asia. And I also got lots of pictures of maples. So this is a picture of a maple that's up here in northern Kentucky. It's really big. I mean, as you can see from the little play set, I mean, it's been growing for a while. It's a really big tree. And maples can actually grow. I mean, there are lots of different types of maples, but they can grow anywhere from 10 to 45 meters. And I was also able to get multiple pictures of Japanese maples, or Acer palmatum. And these are cute. They can only grow about 6 to 10 meters. So this is a pretty tall Japanese maple that's here on campus. But this one is actually one that's in my backyard. And it used to be bigger. It used to be about up here. But it's gotten old. It's gotten kind of sad looking. There's also been a lot of frost. So that probably was not very good for it. And this one is an eastern redbud, or a Cerces canadensis. So they're native to North America, and when this picture was taken, they had all of these pretty pink flowers all over them, but in other times of the year, they also just have big heart-shaped leaves that are really pretty. So let's look at some of the grasses. So these are all taken here on campus. So this is the mully grass. So that was taken here. But I mean, it's really found all throughout campus and really the whole area. But it's only found here in the East Coast. And in some Eastern Coast states, it's not, they can't really be found as often, or maybe not at all throughout the state. So these are they're tall, they're really thin, pretty hardy. So, but to contrast that, we have this one. This is a pampas grass, which is actually from South America rather than North America. It's from the Pampas region, what it was named after, from the South American lowlands in Argentina, Uruguay, Brazil. It also included mosses. So this is a pincushion moss, which I found here by the Arts Building. And it is native to New York State. It grows non-vascularly, so this one obviously was found in concrete, but they can also grow on rocks or wood, whether the wood's dead or alive. But yeah, so they don't need soil to grow, and I thought that was really cool. So look at some flowers. This first one is also found around my house. This is a lilac. So lilacs are actually part of the olive family, which I found was very interesting. And they're native to the Balkan Peninsula, but they're basically found all throughout the world now, because, I mean, everybody likes lilacs. And everybody knows these. These are those little white clovers, the Trifolium repens. They're basically, I mean, everybody, I guess, considers them weeds just because they grow very easily. They're really tiny, really soft, and interestingly, they're a part of the bean family. So they're common, obviously, here in North America, but also in New Zealand. And they really attract bees. Bees really like the white clover, and this is marigolds. These are just regular, garden marigolds. So marigolds are pretty short-lived, and the heads of them are usually 4 to 7 centimeters in diameter. And fun fact, they're edible. People put them as garnishes. And my favorite are peonies. These were cultivated, but peonies, they're native basically through a lot of the East Hemisphere. And, they're really big and fluffy and soft. And, I mean, these are white, but they can also be purple, red, yellow. And these are tulips. So these are garden tulips. And so these, you can tell because they're a little bit more round at the top as opposed to pointy. and they're actually a hybrid from during the Ottoman Empire, and these are really popular. Everybody likes those. They have a more full look as opposed to the pointy ones. So now we're gonna move on to small plants. This is lamb's ear. This was not taken in the spring, so you don't get those big stalks with like the little purple flowers on them that typically grow. But lamb's ear is really good, or Stachys byzantina, and they're really hardy, and they also just grow. This patch was probably just here originally, but they spread very fast. This is all found here throughout campus, and it's really vibrant purple. This is not quite as vibrant as it usually is. It's a purple heart. It's a type of spiderwort, and it is native to East Mexico. So yeah, they're just really bright and purple. These are another one that have lots of just beautiful colors. It's sometimes considered like a painted nettle. So not all of them. This one's maroon on the back and like a pale green on the front, but they can have all sorts of colors, all sorts of patterns, you know, reds and pinks and yellows. So, but they're just it's just a little bush with all these pretty leaves. And this is hen and chick, so it's a succulent, and these are super hardy. They grow all over the place. I mean, as you can see, here's the hen, and then here are the chicks, and so they grow really fast. And because this I got from somebody else, who got it from somebody else, who had way too many of these, so she just started giving them out to people. So yeah, really hardy. And this is another little succulent. This is called a purslane. So for here in North America, they're like an exotic weed, basically, because they're found all throughout like North Africa, South Europe, the Middle East, that sort of area. But here, yeah, so they're introduced here, and they just kind of grow as weeds, and it's really interesting. I had never seen that before. This is a butterfly bush. So these are native to China and Japan, and they're bisexual, so there's not like a male and female plant. It all happens right here. And these are super cool because they attract butterflies, and this is a beautiful picture I got of a painted lady. So this is the dorsal side. You can tell because it's really colorful. It's got the orange and the yellow and the white and the black. But when it's closed, the outside, the ventral side is more brown, so they can camouflage in. So this is a honeybee, which was, well, this is a western honeybee. It's one of the first domesticated insects. I mean, you know, beekeepers are kind of everywhere. I mean, they're all throughout the world, so. And I was really happy that I was able to find a different kind of bee as well. This is a metallic sweat bee, which I had never really taken a close look at, but some of the metallic sweat bee males still have like the yellow stripes and a little yellow face, but this one is either a female or it's a species that's only where they're all just kind of silver. So yeah, they're really smooth. And I was able to get lots of spiders. This one is a tan jumping spider. It's probably a female because you can tell because it's more brown, and it's also pretty compact. And it was wild when I was taking this picture because I was just taking a bunch, and at some point it just scurried up and it went just underneath this bark, this more gray bark. So it was basically inside the tree. That was pretty wild. And this is my friend holding a millipede, and when she picked it up I was a little terrified that she was holding a millipede, but millipedes basically won't hurt you. They can kind of be pests, but that's about it. So this is a bison, which is up here in northern Kentucky at Big Bone State Park, and that area was really appealing to larger mammals because it has a big salt lick deposit, you know, even like mammoths and all that. So bisons started going nearly extinct in the 1800s, but thanks to this park and their project, they've been able to, they have a small herd, and so that's always exciting. And of course, I mean, we can't talk about Kentucky without talking about some thoroughbred horses. So, interesting, first thoroughbred horse in America came over in 1730, and his name was Bull Rock. And so, yeah, these are used for racing a lot in, you know, horse sports, basically. And this is an American bullfrog native to this area, and I took this picture just down the road. It's over here in Bowling Green at Lost River Cave. And I originally thought that all of this was just mud on him, but it's actually camouflage. That's a part of him. So, and I think it's super cool. You can really tell that he's from this area because that brown really matches the brown of the mud around him. And taking pictures of little animals was really hard. They like to scurry, but this is a little rabbit. I mean, the picture's not super great, so it's probably an eastern cottontail rabbit because that's what's most common here. Rabbits they have really short lifespans, I hadn't realized. They only live often for like 2 years, and their biggest issue is birds of prey, especially for the little baby ones. And here we are back at the beginning of the semester with our little brown bat hanging out on the side of EST. So they're mostly found here in the contiguous 48 United States, but they can also be found in Iceland and in Alaska, probably by getting on ships. So, and our final tab is of the Crone Conservatory. So that's here. It's a big greenhouse, and I mean, there's some Eden Park and then some over here. So this is up in Cincinnati. Here's the Ohio River, Cincinnati, and here's Kentucky. And so these were some plants that I took pictures of there. And so this is a hibiscus, which is from, they're wetland plants. And hibiscus, well, this is like a purebred, but if you get them with, you can make a hybrid with them, and it makes a really hardy hibiscus. This one's pretty hardy, but there are definitely more hardy ones out there. And this is a miniature umbrella tree. So it's really short, and it just has all these beautiful leaves all the way around it, really soft. And it's native to Taiwan. It's really hardy, but because it's from Taiwan, it can't handle severe frost, only like some cold. This is prickly pear, which, I mean, that's pretty like stereotypical South United States on all that. So, and the name Opuntia, its proper name, comes from Nahuatl, like Native American. And this is an agave, or McKelvey's century plant, and those stalks can grow huge. They can be up to 5 meters, so they're really big, they're really hardy, really stiff. And these little guys, these are barrel cacti, and you have to be really careful because if you get pricked by one, it's considered a dirty wound and you need antibiotics basically immediately. So, and these are funny because they can bear fruit, but it's really dry and bitter, so the only time anybody ever, well, nobody really eats it anymore, but Native Americans used to eat them, but only in like times of emergencies when they really needed food. So that's my story map, all about my observations this semester. I had a great time with this project, and it was really great learning about all like the animals and plants in the area. So I hope that you enjoyed this little tour, and have a great day.